It's because, and this is a mutual thing, right? And even if it wasn't, I still would agree with it. And so the haters won. Well, it's not necessarily haters won. It's more that a lot of people, I don't want to sign other people up for my battles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it ended. That's a like very respectable thing to say. Like, I knew he was out of OTK for a while, so I thought there was gonna be something different. But it's nice to have a bit of extrapolation here, because it did feel really f***ing weird, right? Because it did feel like he was just getting cut from everywhere, but it's good to hear that it's a mutual decision, and that he's like, this is the kind of content I want to do, this is stuff that I care about, and it's like, he made OTK, right? He made that organization, and if he can make something like that once, like, I'm sure he's going to keep doing things. There's no way that he's going to just completely fall off anywhere. Asmon's going on a path in his home. Why aren't I in the background with his chair? Look, man. Look, he hasn't invited me to his house yet. What even is OTK? It's a streamer organization. Like, if you've heard of like offline TV, it's kind of like that. Think of like OTK and offline TV as a VTuber company, where like you have a whole bunch of streamers that came together and they're all under the same umbrella. They do stuff together, they collab together, they get sponsorships together. It's kind of like a VTuber organization without all of the idol stuff, as it were. Pretty sure he still receives kickbacks from their endeavors regardless. I have no idea. I don't know what his financials are like. He doesn't want the guilt by association to hurt others around him. Well, it's also just like, because he's in an organization, right? There'll be people who will go around and be like, oh, Tectone, did you see what happened with Asmon? Like, do you condone this? Or like, oh, Emiru, like, Asmongold said this, you're part of his organization. Like, do you condone the stuff that he said? Right? Like, they don't understand that, like, even if you're in an organization with someone, and even if you're friends with them, you don't have to have all of the same opinions and all of the same ideas. Damn, that Asmongold charisma, it's too powerful. You know, a VTuber who toned down her content to protect her coworkers, it's fair. It's like, I would do the same thing as Asmongold, because I feel like if I had to censor myself for the sake of other people, I wouldn't be being true to myself, and I wouldn't be making the kind of content that I want to make. And I also would not want the people around me to suffer consequences for it. So I would do the same thing in his position. I wouldn't censor myself to stay, I would leave. The people that do that don't have friends, so they don't know what friends are. Munya. It's current year, Kirsche. You have to be homogenous in mind. That's just like my opinion, man, you know? Why is she not in the company? I would not be a good fit for FaZe. I applied for FaZe once, and I never heard back, and so I was like, well, I'm guessing that's a no. So I'm gonna release my audition video, since that's probably going to be a resounding no. And then I learned more about Vtuber Corporation contracts, and I learned more about like the behind the scenes and how they work. And I definitely don't think I would ever join a Vtuber Corporation, like ever. Like, there's nothing that could change my mind and make me believe that joining a VTuber corporation would be a good idea. And I also feel like a lot of VTubers feel like you haven't made it and you're not successful unless you get accepted to a corpo. But that could kneecap you. Like, you could already have an established audience, you could already be making, you know, a decent livable wage being an indie VTuber, and you could go into a company and you could end up making less, you'll have more restrictions, and it doesn't, if you have an established audience, it just doesn't seem like it would be a good idea to join a corporation. Like, asterisk, maybe if you had a chance of getting into HoloLive, potentially, but even then, like, I do not think I would join a VTuber corpo. You agree that I wouldn't fit with any of the existing corpos? Even if, like, a corpo wanted to take me on, I would not want any backlash that comes on me for my political opinions to affect any of the other girls who are in the corporation. And I guess they don't exist anymore, so I can talk about it. I had talked to Aviel about joining Idol, and this was something that was like, we were kind of considering, because I guess because people don't actually listen to what I say and then just say like inflammatory things. My reputation's not the best in the VTuber sphere, as it were. And so like joining a corporation would have, I guess, like helped improve what my perceivable reputation was, because it's like, even if she says and does the same things, if she has a corporation to back her, then that means that the things she's saying are okay and we can just ignore the other people. And so I was talking to Aviel about it, and I was just like I'd be interested, but my biggest worry is like I wouldn't want anything I say or do to affect any of the other girls. And even though I wouldn't be like in their specific generations, I would still be in the company. Literal Nazi, Kirsche Verstal joins Israeli company. Yeah, but I shortly after that is when like Mythic finally started responding to me, and I will be forever grateful for that.
Kirsche.
Hi.
Isn't this bitch a Nazi?
Thank you. Let me get this off screen. Hold on. Dressed Glass, thank you for the 88, dude. Thank you for the 88. Thank you. What about Mythic? That's why I said I was very grateful that Mythic came along, because Mythic is less like a VTuber organization, and they're more like a management agency. Perfect timing. It was perfect timing. And so with Mythic, anything I say or do doesn't affect any of the other people who are also signed by Mythic. And there are probably people who are signed by Mythic that I will never even speak a single word to in my entire life. I talk to my manager, I talk to other people who are, you know, in the organization if I want to, but it's not like I am forced to do anything within the org, and no one will get any kind of backlash. Unless someone is actually schizophrenic, in which case no one's going to pay attention to them, right? Mythic gives her exactly what she needs as an indie. Solo Foxu, best Foxu? Yeah, absolutely. They have no say, like, over what I do for content. They don't control my content. I can keep doing what I'm doing, obviously. They probably wouldn't like it if I were to just, you know, start doing crazy shit. Just popping off the N-word every other way. Like, they probably wouldn't appreciate that, right? But... Breaking news, Kirsche hates her Mythic genmates. Confirmed. Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, I mean, maybe if I wanted to, like, reach out to somebody who's also under Mythic, I could be like, hey, manager man, I am riddled with anxiety. Maybe you could ask this person for me if they'd want to do something. But, like, for the most part, I try to reach out to people myself. If I'm not too terrified. Why aren't you collabing with your genmates, Kirsche? Do you hate them? Who are my Mythic gen? Mythic doesn't have genmates. You just have streamers who have been signed. And, like, there's very far left people signed to Mythic. There's center people. There's people like me. Like, it's a fucking gumball machine, man. Yeah, I don't know. I would never join a corporation, because it's like that's a huge worry I have. And I think again, like a lot of shit that's said about me is just blatant like lies or complete fabrications, which is unfortunate. But a lot of people think I'm like incredibly fucking hateful for some reason. It's like I could say inflammatory things. I'm very passionate about the beliefs that I have. But like everyone I've interacted with, and like even some people who dislike me, have had to admit like, well, at least she seems like a nice person. Should be noted that it's not just a VTuber agency. There's a ton of flesh streamers. Yeah, Mythic also signs fleshy people. We got fleshy people and VTubers. You're way too much of a sub to be hateful. Like you could tell when I get like legitimately angry, and it doesn't happen too often, you know. When is Kirsche Corp Gen 1 debut? I would never own a corporation either. I'd never own one. So it's like I understand Asmon's point of view. And I feel like based on him being able to set up things like OTK and Mythic and Starforge, he's gonna be able to do whatever the fuck he wants, you know? I heard lots of bad things about Kirsche, but then when I watch her, it turns out none of that was true. Many such cases. I love those messages, man. I love it when people come in here and they're just like, I saw things on Twitter about how you're like a terrible, hateful Nazi piece of shit, and then I came to watch you because I thought I would hate it and that I could, you know, hate post about it, but you're not, you don't seem like a bad person, so I'm confused. When you talked chicken tenders, that's the maddest you've been. Like, a lot of people love their internet blood sports, and that's why drama is, like, huge. It's like, I try not to deal too much in actual drama shit, because I'd prefer to focus on politics and things that matter, but as a streamer, occasionally drama catches my interest, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this? What the fuck is going on here? Kirsche made me work out so she could ogle my arms. They're delicious.